So welcome everyone. My name is Ina Felsheim. I'll be talking to you today about Amazon OpenSearch Service Security Analytics. This is a new feature launched for us, launched just on Pi Day last week. You may have heard about it in the AWS Pi Day event, but we've gathered some super smarties here today to talk to you about this feature. If you want to give me the next slide, Jamish, we're going to talk to you a little bit about what is OpenSearch, what is Amazon OpenSearch Service, and then the security analytics feature. And then Kevin's going to bring it home with a live demo. A live demo. So hang on for that. Throughout the session, there will be polls, so stay near your keyboard. We're going to have you answer some polls and then we'll share the results back with you. We use that to help us guide our development efforts as well. And of course, you can ask questions in the chat. We'll ask questions as we go. So here we go. Let's kick it off. First, what is OpenSearch? OpenSearch is community-driven open source search and analytics suite. It was first released in 2021, and since then has just really gained in traction. You can see the numbers on the right-hand side, 150 million downloads, as well as just multiple service providers helping contribute to this open source project, from AWS, of course, being one, but others are listed there as well. We're really proud of the DB Engine's search engine ranking moving up to number 4. We continue to monitor that and really push that forward as well. So how does that relate to Amazon OpenSearch Service? If you want to move to the next one, Jamish. Amazon OpenSearch Service then is the fully managed service that helps you deploy, manage, and run your OpenSearch. We're really paying attention to making sure that we're doing that cost effectively and that we're paying attention to reliability, scalability, and security. Universally, when we talk to customers, these are the top concerns that they have. And really the goal of the managed service is to take away those heavy lifting tasks of operating, maintaining, and securing your OpenSearch clusters. We want to do that for you so you can spend your time thinking about what makes your business run better. There we go. What makes your business run better and what makes you unique. So the last thing on that slide is observability. That's a little bit of an outlier to the rest of the items on the slide, and it's kind of intentional. The reason that that is interesting here is because as soon as you create an OpenSearch service domain, the observability plugin is enabled out of the box. There's no extra cost. There's no extra licensing. There's no thinking about what packages you need. All of that is available to you to use right out of the box. And you'll see that theme carried through when we talk about security analytics next. So that's kind of the high level overview. What is OpenSearch? What is Amazon OpenSearch Service and how they relate to each other? Let's kick it over to Jamish, who's our senior product manager, to talk a little bit about this specific feature that we're so excited about. Jamish, take it away.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining the session, and I'm excited to share more about the recently launched security analytics feature. So security breaches are becoming increasingly, on a day-to-day activity these days. We hear about them so often now. I'm sure you heard of a major airlines that confirmed a data breach that allowed an unauthorized actor to gain access to personal information of a small number of customers and employees. Or perhaps another security breach where a major oil pipeline was shut down as a result of a malware or a ransomware attack, which was a compromised password was used, the mechanism for this attack. Or here's another one, a major rideshare company was impacted as a result of a social engineering attack. So security breaches will continue to happen. You need to have the tools to protect your infrastructure, your organization, and your data, so that you can save them from the eyes of the attacker.
Yeah, so let's kick this open to our first poll. What do you use for security analytics now? So you can check out the polling question, should be in the right-hand panel. It's a multi-select answer. Give us a few answers, and we'll share the results when those are in. So go ahead, type your answer in. And while you're doing that, I just have to point out that Jamish has the best name in the world for security analytics. If you say it just right, you can get a Jamish, which is kind of awesome. So yeah, fill out the question on the right. We'll give you a few minutes. Also, Jamish, while we're doing this, how long has the team been working on security analytics? I know that you've been passionate about this for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this has been a long time coming, and we've been working on this for over a year now. So we're really excited to, launch it first in OpenSearch, and now we've launched it on the managed service. So really excited to see how customers are using this to find potential threats in the organization, and also give us feedback on what else they would like to see as we continue to build more features with security analytics.
Okay, I think the poll has ended. Let's see those results quick. Looks like looks like we're seeing some Splunk, some OpenSearch, some Elastic, Seam, and some others. So if you feel like typing in the chat what the other solutions you might be using, that would be great. But Jamish, talk to us about what we're offering specifically for security analytics.
Yeah, absolutely. So with security analytics with OpenSearch, we want to give you the tools to secure your business data and your infrastructure and rapidly detect these potential threats in real time. We give you 2,200 plus open source Sigma security rules that will help you to get started quickly. But in addition, if you wanted to bring some custom rules, you can bring those to detect security threats with your other application logs or other log types. We also want to help you to decrease the time to respond to these potential security threats by giving you out-of-the-box support for common security log sources, such as Windows event logs, NetFlow logs, AWS CloudTrail logs. They're really rich in the data that they have, DNS, and many more, right? In addition, we want to help you by giving you an integration with Amazon Security Lake. So, there's a few manual steps in there that you have to go through, and we're working on a framework that will allow you to bring these logs, quickly from Amazon Security Lake into OpenSearch. So you can not only see what the security insights are from the log, but you can also correlate that across various logs. And lastly, we want to give you the ability with security analytics to send security alerts with potential threat details to pre-configured destinations using some automated workflows. So if you wanted to send, high critical alerts to a different destination from your low or medium severity alerts, then you should be able to do that. And we give you the tools and the flexibility to create that alerting workflows.
Love that overview, Jamish. Again, you've been talking to customers for years and years, and these are the themes that keep coming up. So love that. Let's move to the second poll question. You heard Jamish talk about Amazon Security Lake. How many of you are using Amazon Security Lake for your security logs? This is a newer service that is still in preview, but just be interested if this is a hot item for you. And while you guys are answering that, Jamish, can you talk to us a little bit more about Amazon Security Lake and why an integration there is interesting for Amazon OpenSearch service?
Absolutely. So Amazon Security Lake gives you the tools to bring in logs from a diverse set of sources. So you can have many different tools and solutions in your organization. You can bring in those security logs into Amazon Security Lake, and it helps you to aggregate those logs as well as, most importantly, normalize those logs into a common schema format. It's called the OCSF format, or Open Cybersecurity Framework. This format was developed by Amazon in partnership, in collaboration with over 2 dozen security vendors who are leaders in their space in the industry. And it's an open source format, and you can go and look it up later, the OCSF format. So that's the format they use in Security Lake. All the data that comes in is automatically normalized to the OCSF format and is also stored in S3 buckets in a Parquet format. So there's efficiency in the workflows in ingestion as well as storage. And once the data is there, you can use a subscriber like Amazon OpenSearch service to then go fetch the data to analyze this with your other security data.
Yes, I mean, super cool. And the work done to establish that OCSF framework is just, there's so many contributors also working on that framework. So love that. You can see from the poll results that most of you are not using Security Lake yet. That is as expected. It is just in preview. It's had a lot of traction and attention already in its preview mode. So we look forward to seeing what those integrations can bring for us in the future, and certainly more to come there. So Jamish, why don't you talk to us a little bit more about the details of security analytics in OpenSearch service?
Absolutely. So, we're having a rich set of capabilities that you can use with the security analytics feature that we just launched last week. The first one is the security rules engine. So one of the most important things for a security analytics solution is to have these security rules that are constantly looking for potential threats from the incoming logs. So you're just ingesting these different types of logs, and you can create some of these detectors by using these out-of-the-box rules that are constantly looking for any signatures in your logs that represent a potential threat. We're also giving you out-of-the-box content mapping for some of these fields from the known log sources. So I talked about Windows earlier. So if you're bringing in a Windows log, we already understand what that logs look like, and we're giving you some out-of-the-box predefined mappings for those Windows fields, and we map them automatically to the Sigma security rule fields that are looking for those potential threats. In addition, it also includes a rules builder. So if you wanted to fine tune the Sigma security rules, you can do that. You can make a copy. You can also bring your own rules and monitor any additional threats or any additional signatures or conditions for the log sources that we support today. In the future, we'll be adding, a lot more support for like specific custom log types or other log types, and we'll be talk about that in later slides. Once you're using these roles out of the box and just with some minimal configuration on like the types of logs that you're bringing in, we will automatically be able to create security findings when we detect a potential threat. And these findings have a lot of detail in terms of why we think this is a potential threat. What is the rule that triggered for as part of this finding? What's the exact document ID that triggered a finding? And if there is some aggregation that we need to do there, if a document triggers multiple findings, then we automatically aggregate that for you because we want to save you from that alert fatigue. And once you look through the findings, you can create alerts on specific findings of interest to your organization, to your use case, so that next time something like that happens, you will be automatically notified to the pre-configured destination of your choice. So there's many workflows there that help you to quickly get the info that you're looking for when these threats are detected in real time. There is also a centralized view for everything that you need to know. You log into the system. The first thing you want to know is, hey, tell me about, the recent alerts by severity. Tell me about what the recent findings. You want that snapshot view of what's going on in the system so that you can decide where you need to spend your first hour of the day investigating potential threats. And the last thing I'll say is we have, we're working on the Amazon Security Lake integration. Yes, you can bring in logs, from Security Lake into OpenSearch. Right now, you have to go through many manual steps, but we are working on a framework that we will be sharing with you all very soon that will automate this a little bit further by allowing you to, bring the logs from Security Lake into OpenSearch. So what are some benefits of security analytics with OpenSearch? So first of all, as I mentioned, is powered by OpenSearch, and it's customizable to your security needs because it's open source, so you can bring in the rules that you like, and you can customize this, as you see fit to your organization. Uh, we want to enable your SecOps teams to detect these potential threats in real time, but also have the tools that they would need to then investigate this potential threat. So having the tools to, run queries on these threats, to create alerts on these security findings, and just giving you these workflows so that there's fewer things that you have to configure and few have to set up. So we want to enable that and provide you the automated workflows to react and respond to these threats quickly. So the real-time threat detection, you can now not only monitor threats from a specific log, but you can now monitor threats across different log types because adversaries, they move across your network. You will see their signature attack patterns across many different logs, and you need the toolkit to be able to correlate these logs across different log sources. So with security analytics on OpenSearch, we're able to monitor these adversary actions across device logs, hosts, across application logs. The other benefit is aided investigations. So we give you a lot of rich information on, what happened, why is something considered a potential threat. We also give you some MITRE attack tags. If we detect that as part of the threat, we'll tell you like, hey, this is associated with this MITRE attack. I won't go into what's a MITRE attack here in the interest of time, but so it gives you a lot of details. So when you're doing investigation, you have fewer queries to run, and you don't have to start too broad because we've already given you some of those details, including the exact log line that triggered this finding. And lastly, we just remember that we are building security analytics on all the great things that is OpenSearch today. One of which is, the cost savings that you get from using OpenSearch. So by leveraging that aspect of OpenSearch, now you can eliminate the cost of cloning your data across multiple solutions, because now you have several different tools and automated workflows as part of security analytics in OpenSearch that can help you to retain your security logs for a longer period of time at a low data retention cost. So there's a lot of cost savings there, to get from security analytics.
And Jimish, to what we talked about earlier with observability, this is available out of the box, correct? No additional cost.
That's exactly right. There's no extra cost to use security analytics. You would just pay the same cost you would to bring any other log into OpenSearch service. And it's also enabled out of the box. If you spin up a new domain, you already have security analytics in there for you to start using that.
Yeah, so that's a lot of great information about the benefits and what we're actually delivering in OpenSearch Service Security Analytics. Let's kick it over to Kevin Fallis to talk about how it actually works.
Thanks, Anna, and thanks, Jimish. So, when we look at how we do an investigation workload, you effectively have 5 different things that you want to focus on. First and foremost is you need to identify your logs. Now, with the solution right now, we do support a variety of log sources. And for this first iteration, you have roughly 8 log sources, ranging from CloudTrail logs to DNS logs to NetFlow logs and whatnot. But once you've identified those sources and you have those ingested, you then proceed to create a detector. And we'll walk through this in the demo here in a second. But all the detector is a series of rules that you apply to a specific log source to find what those potential threats are. The next thing that you do when you get into the detector, you're actually going to go ahead and configure rules. Now, the beauty of using the Sigma rules is that this is a community-driven effort. It's open source, and you can take this YAML descriptive file for any sort of security event that you want to detect, and you can bring those into the service itself. Also, keep in mind, 2,200 plus predefined Sigma rules come with this first release, and we intend on expanding that. So after you've configured your rules, you want to go ahead and set up your alerts. Now, all alerts do is when a finding occurs, you have 2 types of findings, ones that you want to react to and ones that give you some information. So you can selectively configure alerts on specific rules that you define for a log type. And when you're finally done with that, you can go ahead and respond to those auto-generated findings, because what we do is we interact with the notification plugin. For those who don't know what the notification plugin, it's a way that you can define a destination such as email, Slack, Chime, custom webhooks, or SNS. That gives you a broad, diverse environment by which you can send these findings and the alerts, so you can either programmatically react to them or go ahead and manually solve the issues at hand. So with that said, let's go ahead and dig into a demo after we take this quick question from Lina.
Yeah, so we're very interested in the security analytics capabilities that we talked about. What is most beneficial to you? Can you pick the 2 that are most important? Of course, we assume you want to do them all, but which bring the most value to your organization? And while we're waiting for you to answer that polling question, Kevin's going to get his live demo ready. So a few extra fingers crossed to make sure the live demo gods are with us today. But while we do this, let's hear a little bit more from you, Jamish, on, what kinds of customer examples have you been hearing so far, or common scenarios?
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the common scenarios we hear from customers is they don't want to create these security roles because they don't have some of these security analyst experts on their team, for example, and they're already bringing a lot of these logs into OpenSearch. So what they're saying is, hey, can you give us a solution that now we can also bring in security logs into OpenSearch and we can analyze potential threats from those logs, but then we can also correlate across the log sources that we already have brought into OpenSearch. I think so that's the beauty, right? We're building on top of OpenSearch. So if you're already using OpenSearch, you can get a significant amount of benefits by being able to correlate the security logs with the other logs that you have. So if, for example, if you're looking at a malicious IP that was detected in one of the logs, now you can just take that and run a query across your entire logs within OpenSearch, and you can generate, get those insights much faster. So that's one of the things we hear from customers. They want out of the box support for rules, for dashboards, and we will be working through many of these requests, through the year. Yeah.
Super cool. And so you guys can see the poll results up there, top answers being integration with other AWS services, and that's definitely something that we're working on, as well as executing the rules on historical log data and auto correlating across multiple log sources. So thank you for that. And with that, enough of the buildup, Kevin. Let's see some software, yeah?
So with the latest release of version 2.5 in OpenSearch with the Amazon OpenSearch service, and also in the open source community, we have what's called security analytics. Now, when you first navigate to the plugin security analytics, realize that you do have a menu on the left-hand side that gives you many, many different options. And as you can see, we are expanding our plugin ecosystem and the availability of features for customers such as yourself. Keep in mind that these are fun things to explore, and outside security analytics, I suggest you look at the other feature set too. But for the purpose of the discussion, when you set into the security analytics tool, you're going to land into what is called an overview page. So we go to security analytics, we look at the overview, and what you'll find is that you have the ability to narrow down specific time ranges. Now, this is a standard functionality of OpenSearch dashboards, but for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to choose the last 30 days. Now, this is our developer playground right now, and you'll see a broad range of people have created detectors, and it's a multi-tenant environment, and everyone's trying to understand their findings to make this product better. So what you're going to see here is a representation of our test data that we've run to understand what's going on with our systems that we're testing against. So you'll see on the left-hand side that we have an overview page. We have findings, alerts, detectors, and rules, and I'll dig into these in a second. But at a very, very high level, when you land on the landing page, you're going to find that you're given a summary overview. And what's going to be shown to you over the window that you choose are the total findings and the total active alerts. Now, what we do is we run a graph line to show you the alerts that were triggered based on the findings, but we also show you other findings that we found were significant, but alerts have not yet been set up on those particular findings. So if you want to find what's going on with the findings and the alerts, we do have summary pages to view the alerts, to view the findings, to look at the most frequent detection rules. In this case, we have high DNS requests and system file executions, and we'll talk about what those look like here in a second. And we can also view and create detectors all from this landing page. So let's say that I want to look at my findings. Now, when I look at my findings, I can group by different log types. The log types that we support, are, again, we have Windows logs, DNS logs, NetFlow logs. You have CloudTrail logs and a broad range of other logs. But in this case right now, the things that are triggering these findings are network logs, those NetFlow logs, and Windows logs. And we do break down, what the type and frequency are of those logs in our findings. Now, if I want to dig a little bit deeper into one of these findings, a while back I set up, a couple different detectors, and let's go ahead and look at the finding ID to see what information is given to me. Now, when I go into the finding itself, it does tell me that I have a system file execution location anomaly. It also defines that some of the rules, and keep in mind, if I select the log source like my Windows logs, automatically we're going to apply roughly about 1582 rules so that you don't have to configure those. We'll add those automatically for you so that when you do get a finding, it potentially could be across multiple different sources that are considered threats. So what you do is you're given the summary, you're given the index of which things occur, and we do show the document ID and the event time that generated this activity, and we give the ability to preview what happened in there. So all the detail that you'll find in here in the case of this one is that there was a DNS query, and it was for a specific, it was for a specific program, which was nxlog.exe. Now, in this scenario, we want to detect that just to make sure that there's not any malicious behavior that's occurring here. Now, once you've looked at your findings, other things that we can navigate through are looking at your specific alerts. Now, if I go and I look at my recent alerts, again, I'm going to get a summary page that's going to show me the frequency and the occurrence of those alerts. And if I wanted to drill into a specific alert, I can look at, again, something that has a high DNS rate alert. Now, within that, I can either acknowledge those alerts, or I can, in my activities, when I configure my destinations, I could send those to some automated activity that would allow me to resolve those specific alerts and alarms. Now, if I keep on digging a little bit deeper in here in the overview page, we've gone through the recent findings, we've gone through the recent alerts, but the other thing that is indicated to us is the most frequent detection rules. But the most important feature that I think are the detectors themselves. And if we look at the detectors, you can actually go and configure a detector to be applied to a specific log source. Now, if I want to go ahead and look at a specific detector and I want to edit some information on it, I'm able to, redefine what Windows logs are associated with things. I can, further change other information about that source that I want to review, and potentially I can go ahead and add other rules associated with that. Now, the final thing to look at here are the rules. Now, if I wanted to use the rules that are out there, I have a broad range of things like the run DLL32 execution rule. And if I look at what that is, and I look at the YAML, it's a very, very simple descriptive language that says, look for the execution of this specific executable on a Windows system, and this will be put into my Windows logs. And the reason why this one's interesting is for anybody that knows anything about Windows, you look at run DLL32, and it is a launch point for most malicious threats and attacks. So myself, I go in and configure it. I'm Captain Threat Hunter. I go ahead and define this YAML source, and I add it to the system. I specify my log type. In this case, if I look at the information on it, this log type is going to go and be applied to my Windows product. Now, this will get added to the list of rules that I select from. So in the end, if we look at security analytics, I have a nice environment for which I can go ahead and define detectors and set up an event or activities where I can discover events that are occurring. Now, if I look at running a quick detector, I'm going to do a demo, and I'm going to define my data source. In this case, I'll go ahead and grab some Windows logs, and let me look for my HUR Windows logs. I want to select the type, and we can see that automatically what will happen is I have 1582 rules that are detected. I can selectively apply them if I want to. I can turn off certain ones that I'm not interested in, or I can choose to go ahead and leave all of them applied to the log source. I define a schedule, and I click on the next button. After that, I do have some mappings that I can choose to apply if I want to, but the default map fields are automatically applied for you. So in most cases, you can skip this activity unless it's interesting to some of the data that you want to discover. Once you hit next, you can define a trigger, and in that trigger, I can say when it matches any specific rules. Let's go DMO 123, and I can decide to choose specific rules like when run DLL32 is called, I want that event to occur and send it to my destination. And I want all critical severities. I can put any tags I want in, such as attack privilege escalation. I can choose, a certain attack MITRE threat. and provide that information and give it a severity. Then I select my notification channel. In this case, I'm going to send it off to Chime, and then I'm going to show my notification message. Keep in mind that I can customize this notification message because it's a mustache templated language. Once I'm done with that, I can add more alerts if I want to that detector. But when I'm done, I click next. Once I'm done with this, I go ahead and create that detector. Automatically it is applied to my logs that I specified, and I will start generating findings when those events occur. So in summary, this is a pretty nifty tool to go ahead and start using for your environment. Again, it comes with version 2.5 out of the box. It's really simple and easy to set up, and consider using it for your threat detecting activities when you have logs on AWS or your other systems where you are running OpenSearch. So thanks for your time. Ina, I'm going to turn it right back over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Love seeing the live demo and love that the demo gods were happy with you today. So we're out of time today. You can find Kevin, Jimish, or I on LinkedIn. Our names are there. We'd love to talk to you more about security analytics and what it can do for you and how Amazon OpenSearch service can help. So thank you so much for your time today. We hope to hear from you in the future. Thank you.